Roughneck Racing would like to thank our sponsor, Wagoner Welding. Wagoner Welding is a family-owned and operated business located in North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. They specialize in custom-built truck beds and framework of all types. You can reach them at 336-670-3427 or visit the shop located at 446 DeHart Church Road.
Well, race fans, we are back live once more here down in Daytona International Speedway, and tonight things are going to get interesting as we are about to see the second to final race of the season with the championship on the line here in 2 weeks. Opportunities are high, but the chances are low to make it in to those final spots. So these drivers will push themselves to the limit here tonight. Hi, everyone. I am Christian Shriver, the dead man with a hot mic in hand, and I'm welcoming you here to Daytona Beach and Daytona International Speedway with our starting lineup here tonight. It's a doozy here, folks. We'll start them on the pole. Piling number 00, it'll be Steven Schuh. The outside, the number 53 is Robbie Minor. Row number 2 in the 93 will be Christopher Parker. The outside, the number 69 is Brian Lashbrook. Row number 3 and the number 28, that is Barry Tullis. And the outside, number 13, it's Chris Ramsey. Row number 4 and the 25 is Charles Minter. The outside, the number 5 is Shane Wilden Sr. Row 5 and the number 33, that will be Ben Parson. The outside, the number 30 is James Wagner. Row number 6, Nicholas Don Francesco in the 24 on the outside, piloting the number... Seem to have lost my numbers list on this one here. Well, it's supposed to be Ben Ryan there in his machine there. That's what we have on the lineup. Next up on row number 7 here is going to be a 35 of Larry A. The outside, number 58 is Johnny Hurst. Row number 8 is the 12 of Jerry Bynum. And outside of them, and number 21 is Alex Foster. Row number 9 in the 77, Adam Sprinkle. The outside on the 01 is Jeffrey Ledford. Excuse me, row number 10 in the 44 is Mike Presley. And the outside, number 11 is Cody Troyer. Row number 11 and the number 31 is Juan Cobb Jr. The outside of the 98, it's Eric Coppathorn. Row number 12 and the 13 and the 16 is going to be Mike Treminsky. The outside and the number 2 is Tim Richardson. Final starter in the 25th spot, Chad Hawkins in the number 84. Just to confirm here, Ben Ryan is driving the number 67 here, so I do apologize for that little miscue there. Feeling them down right onto the front straightaway here, race fans. We're getting them set down for action, set to the pace. And it is time to race here in Daytona. 50 laps to the distance for Roughneck Racing. And the race is on. It's going to be interesting to see here really who gets the advantages, who gets the spots in position. I'm interested to see where the drivers kind of find and play in this case, considering there's a lot of opportunities that can go right, and there's a lot of shots that can go very wrong. And with the championship on the line here, things certainly push these drivers to their limits and push themselves into whole new waves of priorities and success rates. Down from the first lap here, Steven Schuh will lead us down. Got the early advantage right now. Next time out in 2 weeks on the 1st of June. We are in Talladega. We will see the next gen's on display there. Fielding up on the outside lane, number 53, Robbie Minor here now trying to get something going with the outside group. He's got the number 69 here, Brian Lashbrook, right behind him here, trying to see some lane choice, trying to see some openings. You'll see a lot of them take it a little bit easy out of the gate. Some of them trying just stay within the gap and within reason of the draft. I don't expect a whole bunch of them to really start piling the momentum on until much later in the race here. Ben Ryan, that 67, which I had a hard time figuring out his number there. Thankfully, pretty easy to spot down there. Meanwhile, that 33 of Ben Carson almost kind of being like a chameleon down there. Got that 33 scheme in full range of view. But under the lights, a little harder to see than you may think. Still double filed here. The rows haven't switched around too much at the moment. Gotta believe a lot of the drivers right now just kind of being patient, kind of focusing in on not just our lap times, but also just trying to focus on the fuel strategy. Don't want to overcook the engine too quick. Don't want to overdo yourself in position. You want to stay nice and focused, stay right in the lane you want, in the lane you desire. The rest, they say, is history. Give you a good little bird's eye view perspective of how close everyone is to one another. Showing you everyone from the front to the back here. The very back is being held up by the number 98 of Eric Copperthorne. Copperthorne, kind of a sneaky one he is. He's very clever, I'll tell you that much. He has been at every single race, always been right in the mix, in the middle, or he's right up in the front on the very last bit, ready to go at it and ready to shoot out. And it has led him a couple podiums so far this season. But now I guarantee you a race win with the closing situations and closing laps now. Championship at stake. Very much going to be in the mind and the factor of these drivers here. Steven Shoes still leading him down right at the moment, with that 93 of Christopher Barker being as much of a help as that 28 of Barry Tolson. And Tolson right now, ooh, getting in the mix here of a bit of a roundabout spot. He doesn't really have a way to make the big charge and the big runs, but he does have a way to kind of stay in control of his own destiny if he just so desires. Robbie Minor there going on to the back straightaway, entering in turn number 3. Got a little bit loose and a little outside. Went almost down in between with the number 93 and the 28. Doesn't quite get anything destroyed on that part, so at least they remain clean and green. And you can feel the power coming through the lines and down to the chicanes, into these turns and down those straightaways. Down those straights, man, I tell you, it's like watching two cars going back and forth on a side draft drag race and then trying to literally outdo the other while at the same time holding as much control as they can in these cars. And next thing you know, you got a big turn you got all of a sudden start sweeping around into. It certainly makes you look yourself a little differently when it happens. Top speeds right now currently on our Delta sheets here, we're looking at around 220 miles per hour, the closest they're getting. 218 I'm seeing right now as the fastest so far. That is currently being upheld by the number 21 of Alex Foster. Now Foster, and that tied with number 21, kind of a little retrospect back to the old days, back when you used to see the old Gen 4s to even the younger Aero Wars. A lot of names representing that Tide scheme there. Alex trying to be another feather in the cap of the Tide sponsor and at the same time of the Tide car itself. Robbie Minor now starting to maybe get a little bit impatient. Pours on the momentum. Got a little bit of a punch draft there from Brian Lashbrook. Now stays within him. I thought honestly maybe he'd go to that outside lane. Decided not to. He decides to stay out on the outside lane and opting to help Lashbrook. Maybe a smart strategy for a team player there, as you got a little bit of movement back there. Nicholas Don Francesco. And that Exalta 24 getting clipped down around the back straightaway a little bit. Got sent down to that yellow lane a little more and just couldn't quite keep it under control. Was able to recover nicely. Man, crazy to believe how far the sport of racing has come and gone. You know, really, you think about it too, race fans. Again, this is sacred grounds these drivers are racing on. When this track was built, like I said, I've said it numerous times before, but I always love to give history lessons out there. Where these drivers used to run at was on literally the beaches of Daytona Beach. It was there during that time that they were actually starting to get motor racing involved. They were setting time trials down there on the straights. And one day, a big fellow by the name of Bill France decided, you know what? I think I could do something with this. And got that whole little strip of road there on the left-hand side of the track and used the beach. So technically speaking, one of the first ovals that really incorporated a rally kind of style racing was because of Ryan France. And because it was one of the biggest and the baddest, it paid one of the best out there. And all set though, we got a problem down there. Trouble off turn number 1 and 2. Alex Foster, Adam Sprinkle flipped in the mix in a little bit of trouble here. We're going to go to the replay and figure out what happened. Got to go take a look at the Speed Zone TV Instant Replay, brought to you in part by Precision Fence and Gates. Very interesting situation and dilemma here. It looked like the 21 was going up, but as you can see, the 77 also tagged the wall. See if we can look at it one more time. Very interesting situation. I don't really think it can go either way here. I feel like there is truly someone to blame. I'm just trying to see, did Foster, yeah, yep. Yeah, I think that's probably going to need to be thrown on the number 21 there of Alex Foster here, unfortunately, for that situation, because in this case, he did end up going up into the groove there here on lap number 10, and unfortunately, that kind of started the chain reaction. as they continue to march their way down on the back straightaway here. No one giving an inch here on the track. Being worried that I might have had some technical difficulties here. I do apologize. Didn't realize my mic was not completely on here. Brian Lashbrook leading our field down with a 00. Stephen Shue now in the mix here. Christopher Barker in the 93. Nicholas Don Francesco 24. And Barry Tolson at 28. Rounding out the top 5. Robbie Miner having to go back into the top 10 bracket. He was up in the race lead position for a good little bit. Kind of thrown for a bit of a loop though now. No one wanted to give an inch to the other here. Shane Welding Sr. trying to do some damage here on that back stretch as well. Looking to try to get some ground clearance. He's been at it quite a while here, folks. He's been the one that honestly in the points race and the points hunt, I'd say probably every driver has been knowing very well that he was going to be very tough to take down, very tough to breed out on this stuff here. Field starting to get a little bit less and less in the packs and more just get going and get it done already. They do not want to let up at all here, and I'm loving every minute of it. From the pit stop there, everyone went into pit lane there on lap 11 or 12, depending on their situation here. Screaming toward the line and down to the lanes. Every driver just wants to try to make what they can of today. The 13 of Chris Ramsey now starting to look like he might put. Oh, whoa! Hang on, hang on, hang on. Can they square it up? Oh, no, they can't. Oh, no. Trouble. Big one off turn 4. And the big one struck with some ferocity there. I was just saying, like, this was quite interestingly looking like it might be a bit of a runoff at 13. It looks like, yeah, you can see right there, you can see the 13 went down into the 24, but was that due to help from the 28 here? That's going to be the question I have. Did Tolson kind of, you know, put that into position here? Was he the one that kind of initiated that initial contact? We're going to take a look here. Replay again. That is a very tough one to call here, folks. It looked to me like 28 did have a little bit of something to do with it, but I mean, can you truly blame it, though, completely on the 28? Because I don't personally think you can. I think, honestly, if Don Francesco had a way to save it, I think it might have been a bit of a better shot. I don't think there truly can be one person really to take full blame for this one. You can probably disagree in the comment section below, but I don't know. This one, to me, was a little hard to figure out here. Brian Lashbrook, Greg Tolson, Shane Welding Sr., whole bunch of them going into pit road right now. That's what pit road looks like here. And out of pit road we go, back onto the straights. Just a surreal wreck there, unfortunately, happening on the circuit. Kind of throwing everybody for a loop. Officials are going to dock that down as a race incident there, reviews for later, if you will. I mean, personally, I don't think there's really any true conducive position we can take on it other than that here. Jeff back on the show with us says, let's go Shane, number 5. Jeff, great to have you back on board with us here tonight, sir. 2 cautions in, but just approaching halfway point. Seems as though we have lost Ben Ryan to 67 today, so he is out of the race. Stephen Shue and Christopher Barker going to lead us back down. You got to wonder in the back of your mind, too, with Ramsey and a few others, how are they going to handle and feel with the way this pace has been, the way the race has been going. So I am kind of curious why Ramsey is in the position he's in right now. Are we missing someone down there? Does someone blink that the iRacing gods blink somebody out and I'm not seeing them? Or was that supposed to be Ben Ryan? That's supposed to be right there. Well, somebody is missing right there. I just cannot tell, but Ramsey is pretty much backed all the way off, so I don't know what's going on here. Again, I do apologize for that little mishap there, race fans, with the voice there. Something went wrong on my end with my microphone, and I had to fix it really quickly, so do apologize for that. Well, to move Ramsey up into position here. I guess maybe he was just kind of playing possum. Set him on back down to that green flag starting zone. Into the restart zone we go. Back to the green. From the Ipswich Bay Soap Company restart zone and on down from here. All drivers now just doing what they can to try and stay in the lane. Ramsey moving on to the bottom there with the 93 Christopher Barker. Stephen Shue leads it with the 35 of Larry Eddy now on the head. Robbie Meyer and that number 53 machine on the bottom lane right now, trying to shoot some gaps up, trying to get some momentum cooked up. He's getting awfully close to that back draft there. And now seems to be kind of laying in thick a little bit, looking for an opportunity or some momentum. But here comes a massive backup driver, fielded by the 84, Chad Hawkins, looking for the run. As soon as they get to the minor, my question is, where do they go? Do they go to the outside and make the charge, or do they try to stay at the bottom and save on the fuel? Well, looked like that 84 of Hawkins wanted to go, and Lashbrook said, no, no, no. End up pushing him in a bit of a troublesome spot now. Now having to work the way on that back straightaway. Every driver just trying to gain some ground and clearance here. The number 24, Nicholas Don Francesco, going to try and work with the 84 here. Hawkins going to need some serious help with Tim Richardson as well, and the two pushing him around. Tim already with a race win this season, and he would love nothing more to add one more here at Daytona. A very popular win he got last time out when he was out here. Certainly looking to make another one of it here. Meanwhile, you got the number 58, Johnny Hurst, in the fight, in the zone. Whoa! Minor wrapped on the bottom and clipped up on the bike. Minor got nailed down on the side lane there. Looked like he might have got tagged from the 2. For the Wagoners Welding, number 2, Tim Richardson. Maybe trying to punch there. Oh, I was not trying to say punch too hard. That's a horrible punch. And there goes Don Francesco. And a massive pile up on the front straightaway again. The big one strikes again. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, my. Lap 24 here, not into 25, not going according to plan there. Take a look at the replay. Well, it all started when Don Francesco got set down to the bottom lane there and into trouble. Trying to get out of it quickly. Everyone else pretty much just kind of in a nasty little timber and tumble there. Chad Hawkins, I'm not sure, maybe he was getting too much of a push here or what happened. Let's see if we can get a look at it. Okay, I see right here. Yeah, I'm just going to say right now, that's about as much of a racing incident as you can get. Robbie Minor there, again, he had nowhere to go. Kind of got into a bad spot. And really, again, we talk about this constantly, but the thing is, you can't just have a whole bunch of things happen like that and literally all of a sudden everything works out from there. Had Nicholas not pushed as hard on that 84, I think maybe he could have been able to escape trouble, but here on lap number 25, honestly, I don't think there's really any other way to say it other than that's about as racing ordeal of a racing ordeal as you can get. Much apologies there, race fans. Looks like right now down here on the track side and where I'm at, currently Lightning decided to rear its ugly head and decided to basically take things down a little bit. So I apologize if I disconnect on and off here for a second. Like I said, I wasn't lying when I had a little issues on my end with the headset and the mic there. Sarah Lashburn saying I'm going to agree to disagree and say 24 caused that. I mean, I can see where you can think of that. I can definitely agree there. I can see what you're thinking there in this case. It's just hard as really the whole situation again when he went down in that position was pushing around and ends up having to try to square a car back up of this kind of caliber. That's one of the hardest things to deal with. Because this car, again, the Gen 6 is extremely squirrely and loose when it's in that draft and in that push. So once you kind of get loose and you get off the rear bumper corners, that's where it gets much harder to drive as a driver. That's where I'm basically going to give kind of the racing incident here in this case. But so far there has only been 2 race incidents here. The only one that truly was calling out in this case was on the number 21 there when he went up raising into the 77, causing that caution there to pop out. Hopefully, though, we don't have to worry about that caution flag flying out anymore here because we only have about 22 laps left to go here in this race in itself. Christopher Barker and Steven Shue going to lead us down. Tim Richardson and Chris Ramsey hot on the trail and hot on the fight. LMAO Beyonce says pick up the pace. Minter number 25. Well, there you go. Minter, I think you got yourself quite a bit of workarounds here to do, my friend, because they are calling for you to get the speed going. Well, I was working out for him in that 18th spot here as we're coming to the restart zone. Looks like Cody Troyer with some problems down there. He's going to park it down in pit road as well. Looks like Brian Lashbrook's still trying to get some damage fixed up. Adam Sprinkle, Chad Hawkins, and Ben Ryan out of the race. Terrible breaks for them, unfortunately. Hope everybody is staying safe out there right now. I know the weather has been changing as of late and being a little crazy. It's getting crazy on our end right now. Hopefully we don't lose the connection again, and hopefully everything stays clean from here. But I'm just letting you know in advance, there might be that chance. Down to the Switch Soap Soap Company restart zone, and green flag flies once more. Firing up the engines again and firing them on down. In the back straightaway here, every one of them here just trying to keep their momentum up and trying to keep their power down on the track. The 01 Jeffrey Ledford got a big pusher there. The number 30 of James Wagner right there in the mix. Almost got a tandem grab going there, looked like, for a second. Fielding it right down the front straightaway here. Every driver here just trying to keep themselves in control. Steven Shue now looking to get a little bit of hell. Oh, no, there's more trouble, more trouble, more trouble. Look out. Oh, did they save this one? Looks like they will. Francesco, though, pulls it right up. Not sure exactly what happened to him there, but that definitely is worth a look at the replay. But no caution out, so they will remain clean at the moment. Oh, he got tagged pretty hard there by the 5 Shane Wheelan Sr. on the right rear corner panel. Don't think Shane meant to do that on purpose, but I think that might have all but ended John Francesco's day, and he's still on the track here. I don't necessarily condone that, but in this case, if he's trying to hurry back to pit road, I get it. But that's a long way to pit road in this case. Bringing them along right now. Every driver just trying to keep themselves under control. Mike Straminsky in the 16 after avoiding some damage and trouble there. Now jumping up on the outside lane here. Has got some serious momentum kicked up here. Barry Tolson, the 28, and the 98 of Eric Coppitor. Remember earlier on I said he was kind of like sleeping giant. He's a sneaky one, I swear. He just hanged around back there. Stayed cool, stayed under control, and now this is where he's at. He's already fighting hard to get back into the race lane. Steven Shue, Christopher Barker, pretty much the whole race have been just kind of either right beside each other or literally right on front or back of each other. Definitely a strategy call and definitely a strategistic situation here to kind of set themselves up into that pace and into that race lane. Question I have is, will they be able to stay under control and stay in the lane choice when the things get extremely rough down there? Got a lot of them right now. Just still trying to see if they can get a lane up or two. I think they could get a third lane going here if they really wanted to, but I think it probably is a little too risky still considering how tough this car has been to hang on to control. We saw it earlier when drivers get into a chain reaction situation. It really starts one thing up and then leads to another. And that seems to have been a bit of the mess at the moment. Throwing it back down around onto the lane choices. And now things are starting to get a bit hairy here. Larry Eddy of the Eagle 1, number 35, getting a little bit of some ground on that side draft from the 13 Chris Ramsey, but no pushing from the back just yet. That could change as Straminsky now leads him in. And Straminsky gonna go to the outside. He wants to start a third lane. We're going 3 wide, heading for 3. Got to clear that 35 though before he can get Ben Parson down there. He does. Looks like Straminsky either wanted to make a move off on the 35 and start taking control, or maybe just thought it'd be better to be in this position and right where they wanted to play it at. The 21 of Alex Foster. He's a tough cat in his own right, man. Racing still dealing with him on Sunday nights at the moment. Uh-oh. Oh, come on. Hang on. Nice save. Oh, my. Honestly, if I'm Tulsa right now, I'm surprised he's going to still push as hard as he's going to here. Came right off that exit. You can just see that push is all it takes. Just gets you a little bit loose. And it sends that car almost screaming towards trouble. How it didn't there is beyond me. A great save there by Straminsky, as well as Foster able to avoid. And it's a litany of problems and issues that was about to drove up there. But now I wonder, does that kind of set a bit of a bad precedent here, because they got only 15 laps left to go. Straminsky now charging up to the race lead. Took them about 2 or 3 laps, but they were able to do it. Dawson, man, he is not giving him an inch. Oh, boy. Dawson once down there. Straminsky left him all high and dry. Tolson, though, nowhere to go. Now he's going to try to get a little help from Ben Parson in the 33. And just like that, you left the man high and dry, and now you give him an opening to send him on by. And now the same situation seems to be happening to Larry Eddy here as Tolson got ahead there with Parsons' help. Tolson is your new leader. Straminsky only able to lead 1 lap out of that. Not sure if that's going to really help him too much in the points race, but certainly will boost up his speed and credibility here for the later half. That's pretty much right now your biggest gap you got going on is the 14th spot up. There are a couple drivers right now. It's Charles Minter, Jerry Bynum, James Wagner, and Johnny Hurst currently out of the spotlight and in a bit of a troublesome slate here. They're going to need a little bit of help from the drivers to either make a mistake or they can get a perfect pit stop going, because right now they are well behind the pace and well behind the time here. Screaming towards the outside lane yet again. Look at that push and look at that derivative run. Hard on the charge. Ben Parson and Larry Eddy. Steady Eddie, if you will, keeping that 35 steady as can be with the 33, and now you got a new leader. Still looking to hold on and get a grasp of the track here, just trying to stabilize himself down. Eric Copperthorne kind of in this mix as well here, as you can see, just the determination and the focus factor right now on his end. Ever the nonchalant, just trying to make sure to stay out of trouble and stay out of the way of any issues for these guys. The 93 here of Christopher Barker kind of flipped up a little bit with that double O. They were on the bottom for the longest time now, switching lanes and going to the outside. Maybe looking to try to get a little bit of what was going on earlier with the top side when they were making 2-car passes. Simon away, kind of tandem passes here with Barry Tolson. Desperate for points and desperate for a championship. Now up on that lane trying to block and defend. He's had a bit of a wild season. It's been a full season of up and down. But he's been in every single race. He's been in every single event. And he's trying to show what he can do in the Roughneck Racing, James Wagner's Welding Superspeedway Series. Steven Shue mixing it up, goes to the outside lane. Carlson was outside, went to Bob Shue, struck it down and said, all right, well, I guess I got nothing else better to do. Now working with Parson again. Oh, that was a big, nasty little bump there. Parson gave to old Tolson. They're trying so hard to get that outside groove to stabilize on the turns, but the bottom lane too, if they get one wrong little bump there, pretty much sends everybody skyward and rocking. That's exactly what's going on right now here, leading down with laps only so much left to go. How is the fuel strategy though, and how is the cars looking on that? Everybody right now in that top half went in either on lap 26 or 27, except for one driver, and that just happens to be the 33 of Ben Parson. I don't know if that's going to make a difference maker for him here, but I gotta believe it is something in the back of his mind right now he's trying to avoid. Copperthorne now leading the outside group here, looking to try to get some help. Collison will join him up there, looking for that push. Oh, but this time it's not going to pay off. Massive wreck into turn number 3. Oh, my goodness. Tolson looked like he was trying to make some moves there, make some runs, and next thing you know, it did not go according to plan. Got aggressive with his strategy and got very, in my opinion, maybe got a little too complacent on where he was laying out on the chart. Take one more look at it here. He pushed hard on that 44 there. I don't know if that was what it was directed by the 44 to him, but he planned it down there. That was pretty much all she wrote. You know, it's very difficult again to see from that angle. I kind of think Olsen had the kind of did that in this situation. Mike Presley again, he got the bump here. Colson gets him loose, sends him up, then Barry goes down, yep. I mean, usually most of the times I would say that's kind of a racing ordeal, but I'm not going to be so nice on this one. I think honestly, or generous I should say, I think honestly if we look at it from point A to point B, I think you got to kind of put the blame there on Tolson. And, well, right now he is going to be having to muscle that thing back into pit road. The right side car is completely destroyed here. So, again, Tolson there causing the big one. And, really, the reason for the call there was because, from what we're getting word as well, is that the thing is, when you pushed and pumping around on that 44, he got him loose, so he was already moving him up a bit, and then came back down and ended up throwing him into that mess there. And unfortunately, you just can't keep doing that all the time before eventually it's going to cost you. In a lot of ways, though, honestly, I think the same results could have been for a few of the other drivers now looking back at it. But really, when you're doing these calls, you're trying to look for the bang-bang play, which is basically one person truly at guilt, and there's nothing else you can argue about. That is the rules here. If it ends up just being it really couldn't have been decided either way, then it has to truly be a racing ordeal. I don't know. I need the opinion of the fans here in the crowd as well. We'll need kind of thoughts on this one here. Gave you the reasoning. Now we'll see what you guys think. But in the chat though, so far, Slow SSO1 says Foster barely avoided that wreck. Let's go get that win now, 21. This is the one right now that some folks right now in the chat are really kind of keeping a close eye on. I mean, honestly, avoided the wreck and looks pretty good condition. You ask me, I'd say he's doing all right. Christopher Parker, a little bit of a glitch there. He's okay though. He'll be all right. Field with only 5 laps left to go. The restart zone. Eric Oppenthorn, Alex Foster, Christopher Barker, and Steven Shue, your top 4 drivers. And get this too, race fans. Oppenthorn, he started 22 tonight. He is 18 spots on the spot right now. Jeff says all 28. Sarah saying, yeah, I would have called that on Tulson. All right. Well, at least the race control got it right on this one, it sounds like. Sarah also saying a couple of people after week continue to be super aggressive and it doesn't benefit them. Nope, it certainly doesn't. And kind of add to your point earlier on, one of them kind of got, in some ways, a little racing justice if you kind of catch my drift. Dobbs Racing says, let's go duo car here. Dobbs, thanks for joining us on in as well. I assume they are talking about that number 31 here of Juan Cobbs Jr., who has also been in a podium position before and looking maybe for another one. Got a lot of work to do, though, because this car will not give you any benefits and not give you any spots here. Down the front straightaway here, possibly for the final time tonight. This will be a doozy. As you got 5 laps to finish it out, green flag charges them up to send them on bound. Shue immediately getting a run. Barker will follow. Foster behind. Copperthorne in there as well. Robbie Minor and that 35 here of Larry Eddy. Now trying to get back to being steady Eddie, but there's a problem for Eddie here. He's got damage on the front end. That nose is flipped in. I don't know if he knows it, but you can see there the bottom plate of the nose is caved in. Will that do any effect or damage to his run here? Juan Cobbs right now up on the outside lane. Shane Wilden Sr. right there in the mix. And now here comes the 35 of Eddie. I don't know if it's going to be the best car, though, to try to draft push off. We'll see. Usually when you got damage on that kind of a spot here, it really slows down the car, and I think this might be the situation for Eddie. He's not getting the run. He saw that push there. He's trying, though. He's getting a little bit of that side drive. Might just get a little bit more. He's going to need a lot of help from those in the back to push him hard to get to that front here. He knows probably this is his only chance here to get a race win in, and his only chance to get it to victory lane, and that's to get a little help from the back. They're pushing and shoving along, just trying to see what they can do. This time around, it turns from 4 to 3 laps left to go, and right now, Steven 2 has got his work cut out for him because here comes Larry Eddy on the outside now with the race lead. Will Eddie stay there, or will he go to the bottom? If I'm Eddie right now, I'm going where the best position is, but it's very difficult to hold a lane on the outside groove. Where does he play it? Oh no, trouble, trouble, trouble! Trouble off turn number 2 here. Tim Richardson and Christopher Barker making a meeting of the minds. Collected off there in the corner. Shane Wheeldon Sr. as well getting mixed in there. We'll take a look at the replay and see what exactly started this. Well, from my perspective and what I'm seeing there, might have been a bit of a clip. I don't know if you guys can hear that lightning and thunder outside. Good Lord. It is. It's not getting nice out there. That's some pretty gnarly stuff out there if you can hear it. Let's take a look here. It looks like this might be on the number 25. Again, we're going to look at this closely, though, because, again, we need to see all angles before you can really determine this kind of stuff. See if Mentor just gave a little too hard of a push. He's right there. Tim is right in the back, kind of clips. It looks like, yeah, the 5 kind of got into a bad spot too. Let's see, was that directed from the push? It looks like it. Well, lap number 48, definitely not what any of these guys wanted to see there. And they are going to flag it on the 25 here. That will be an end of the line penalty there. Caution out on lap number 48, and I guarantee you right now, Charles Mentor cannot be too thrilled about this one. But again, if you can see everything from point A to point B, definitely a big hit there and a big spot. Got a little too aggressive, and unfortunately, that was just enough to send him into the other drivers. But the green-white checker, he still has a good chance here to possibly make a run for it. He's going to need a little bit of help, though, and get someone to clear up with him. We've seen crazier things happen before. This is not over with yet. Far, far from it. Especially with a lot of drivers out right now. There's chances here. So a green-white checker attempt coming up. LMAO Beyonce saying Minter in the chat. I don't think they're too thrilled with Mr. Mister over there. Sarah Lashbrook saying couldn't really tell what really caused that. It's like I said, it's a little bit hard to kind of reconcile there, but from the angle of the RC spots, to me it looked more like when he got into the back, he hit just hard enough on the two that could have been laid off. Again, when you're that close together, unless you see a car break or end up catching, the brakes on it, you get smack up that quick and that kind of pace, you had time to react. So that's what caused the caution. And if I'm Larry Eddy right now, well, let's just say that I'm hoping and praying that I get a good push in the back here. If you hear rumble again, that is not my stomach, and that's not someone else's dog's stomach rumbling around here. That is legit thunder you're hearing out there. So again, I do apologize if you hear that. Mentor's going to try and recover from that here on the 14th spot. Tim Richardson also in that back half with him. James Wagner, Jerry Bynum, Robbie Miner, Christopher Barker, Chris Ramsey, Barry Tolson, Johnny Hurst, Eric Copperthorne, Stephen Shuax, Foster, and Juan Cobbs Jr. all now looking directly at that damaged up front end, number 35 of Larry Eddy, looking to try and take this one home. Slow SSO1 says, where are you? We need you right here. Well, technically, if you want to be technical, I'm technically here at Daytona Beach watching the calling the action here. If you wanted me to be realistic and back to the real world for a second, I'm in the Midwest, so I'll leave it at that right now. And I'll give you another clue. It's a corn state as well. I'll give you that clue. Now we need to figure out what must come of these drivers with this green-white checkered at stake. Opportunities are now going to be few and far in between. It's now all about who can make the run, who can make the change, and who doesn't make the mistake. For the final time, coming down onto the front straightaway here, bringing him to the green. And the green's out here for Larry Eddy to try and seal this one. Charles Mentor, I don't know what the heck happened there. He is spun out there onto the front straightaway. Might have saw that in your corner view there, but Larry Eddy getting a huge jump with Alex Foster right there in the mix. Foster right now looking for the run. He's going to look to that outside, I bet. Will he go there? Yes, he is. Larry was trying to block him. Couldn't get there in time. Juan Cobbs Jr. now back in the back half. That's our two front runners, but now Juan Cobbs not wasting time. Right down the inside lane goes the 00. Steven Shu. He took a 3 wide there past Eddy. That's what Eddy was worried about. He needed it back because he knew that front end was going to get trouble. Can they hang on and avoid trouble before they get to the white flag? Here they come down the front straightaway. White is out. We're finishing under green. Johnny Hurst up on the outside lane with a big charge in the final last leg. Juan Cobbs Jr. trying to push a 21 quickly to get one more shot at him. Down off turn 1 and 2. Here it is Hurst and Foster going to be the leaders. Oh, Foster getting loose, getting pushed around there by Juan Cobbs. Now trying to square it back up as they go down the bottom. Ramsey and Hurst moving their lane. Firing hard one last time. Every driver trying to avoid trouble. Can they stay out of it? Coming on turn 4 as the thunder roars. The crowd rides with them. But they might not have enough time to finish it because Johnny Hurst leads them to the end. Ramsey going to go second, and Foster will finish it in the third spot. What a race. They held on for as long as they could and did whatever they had to stay in control. Pure power and speed and a lot of heavy pushing here from these Gen 6 cars tonight. Left us in a bit of a very weird, inconvenient situation for some, but for others, it was all about just laying in wait for the right time to strike. That time came perfectly for the number 58 here tonight. And what a performance indeed he was able to concoct up here, having gone through all of that there. Yeah, you knew there was a celebration coming. Give us just 1 second here, folks. We got to try to fight. Not only are we trying to fight the storm out there, but we're trying to get our systems back online here. All right, here we go. Time for your final results, presented in part by Precision Fence and Gates here for James Wagner's Welding Superspeedway Series. With 1 race left to go, Johnny Hurst pretty much sealing a huge win, going for a points championship and going for anything he can. Chris Ramsey, same situation, going second. Alex Foster late into the season and charging hard with a 3rd place finish. Juan Cobbs Jr., a late runner in the season, but certainly not showing it here with the 4th place spot. Christopher Parker all night long in that top half, in that position, just did not have quite a bit enough to finish in the right lane that he wanted to. Barry Tolson, despite aggression and pure adrenaline, got into the 6th spot. Tim Richardson, despite getting messed up into that little caution there a couple of laps ago, he manages to bring it back in 7th. Larry Eddy all night long had a good fighting car, but needed that pack to save him because of the damage on the front. Ends up finishing 8th. Steven Shue, the same situation, just like Christopher Barker, fought and scratched along on the top spots, just ended up getting put into a bit of a weird spot. And Jerry Bynum, silently, but nevertheless, putting himself into the top 10 bracket to finish out the results, the rest of your results on your screen, race fans. All right. Well, we got some work to do, race fans. We got to go down to victory lane here. We're going to go chat up with our drivers here. Just give me 1 second here. If the drivers can hear me, just heads up. I will be with you in just a second. A little malfunction on my end here. All right. Here we go. Now time, ladies and gentlemen, to talk with our top 3 drivers here tonight. Start up with the number 21 here in the Tide Machine. It is Alex Foster bringing it on home in the top 3. And Alex, congratulations bringing it home for third place today. Talk about having to kind of deal with some immediate demons and gremlins down there in that first little caution show. And then all of a sudden, you fight back, you scratch and claw, and got yourself in a 3rd. I mean, that's got to be a pretty good position and significant for you tonight, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, man. It was a tough night, looking bad there to begin with, but we just kept sticking with it and fought our way back through the field.
You kind of got in a little bit of a situation there with the 77 and sprinkle there on that first go. I know obviously the car is pretty loose down there, but for just the fans and viewers at home, I mean, talk me through just how hard it is just to be able to keep this thing online, let alone be able to kind of put this position in. It was.
Oh, it's hard. It's tough to hold a line. I seen him go high, and I was trying to stay low, and it started pushing up, and I kind of cut him off, squeezed him in the wall, and it kind of, I guess, ruined us both there for a little while.
It may have been for a little while, but it was not to be the end of your night as you finished this on 3rd tonight. So, Alex, I got to ask you, buddy, who do we think here?
I'll thank Wagner's Welders, for putting this on, Precision Fences and Gates, and the Ipsis Waste Soap Company, and thank y'all at Speed Zone TV for calling these races and broadcasting this for everybody to see.
For sure there, man. You've earned it and deserved it tonight for this 3rd place finish. Congratulations getting it done today.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for number 21, Alex Foster. We're going to now talk here with the number 13 here, your 2nd place finisher, and Chris Ramsey. And Ramsey, yet again, another strong performance and a great showing. Things got a little bit hairy there in the beginning and the midway, but as you started to kind of scratch along, it looked like they were starting to finish up in a good place tonight, wasn't it?
Yeah, man. I mean, it was a tough race all race. Just try to stay patient as much as I could, and found a teammate that I knew I could work with, and then I knew Johnny was wanting to win, obviously, and I'm all good about pushing him. And Johnny and I usually work well together, so I wanted to push him for the win.
I know, obviously, throughout the season, you guys had a lot of times to push and kind of grasp with other drivers here. I mean, really, how hard was it, though, to kind of be able to be put into that position, knowing that there was not a whole lot of legs or openings to make the big move for the win there?
I mean, we were chatting before, kind of get a strategy of kind of what we wanted to do there at the end of the race because we were kind of connected together. We just trying to be patient. Johnny said he would hit a hole when he hit a hole, and one came open. So I mean, he took it, and I told him I'd follow him wherever he went and push him to the win.
And push him to the one you did indeed. Well, Ramsey, I'm going to ask you, buddy, who are we thinking for this one?
I mean, obviously, I want to thank all of our sponsors. I'm sorry I don't have the names. Obviously, Wagoner's Welding, Fence Company and some company as well. So, and I appreciate all that they put in the league and help us sponsor it to keep everything going every week. And just want to make sure I give a shout out to all of our sponsors.
For sure there. Well, Ramsey, man, congratulations taking on home for second place tonight. Well earned and deserved, buddy.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the number 13, Chris Ramsey. And now, he joins me in victory lane here tonight, race fans. It is the number 58 of Johnny Hurst. Johnny, my, sir. I mean, throughout the night, I mean, really didn't even say much there going from the first in the middle. But that ending, man, you just came out of nowhere and said, hey, I came to play and I came to race.
Well, what I try to do on these, we'll just ride around at the first of the race, try to take it easy. But, man, I just felt like I just kept getting caught up in stuff, and Tim was getting caught up in stuff, and Adam, and it's like we just struggled and almost went a lap down until that last caution. I think I was only like 4 seconds from getting lapped, so that saved me. I mean, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here. So it just, man, that last restart, I had Ramsey behind me, and I mean, I wouldn't be here in the win if it wasn't for Ramsey, so I have to give him all the credit on that one. He stuck with me and just pushed me hard and was able to come out with a win.
Yeah, I got to ask you about that, man. I mean, that last restart, everything was kind of a bit chaotic there. You saw Foster, you saw Juan Cobbs Jr., get right up ahead. Eddie, how he had damage on the front end, and next thing you know, you guys just almost like a speeding bullet out of nowhere and just sent it right up there into that race win. I mean, I know you've obviously been in victory lane before, but tell me just what this one means for you here, considering there's only one race left before this championship is closed up.
It means a lot. It's season started out bad, a lot of bad luck, and toward the middle of the season, I started turning it around, and I wished I was up there farther in points, but it is what it is. But, yeah, that last restart, I think what really hurt them was when they started changing lanes because they did have a little bit of damage. I think that's how we was able to get that big run. But no, it means a lot to finally get back in winner's circle. It's a long time coming.
Long time coming, but absolutely deserved. Johnny, who are we thinking tonight, buddy?
Well, got to thank Ramsey for that push. Got to thank Ipswich Bay, Precision Fence and Gear for coming on board this season. And, of course, Wagoner's Welding. Got to thank all of them, and Tim for all the hard work he puts in this league. It's his baby, and he puts a lot of sweat and tears into it, and I don't think he gets thanked enough for it.
I don't think he does either, but, man, at the end of the day, Johnny, you've done a lot of hard work and done a lot of good stuff, too, to help it out tonight, and you finally are getting yourself back into victory lane, so congratulations on that, buddy. Well earned and deserved.
Appreciate you, bud, and appreciate Speed Zone.
Absolutely. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, give it one more round of applause here for this number 58 tonight, Johnny Hurst. And with that, race fans, now we send our way out of the show and down into another zone. But race fans, it's been a pleasure calling this one with you tonight. Congratulations to our top three and everyone tonight. Next week, we're off Memorial Day. We're kind of can guess why, but 2 weeks from now, championship will be decided. I'll let you all know about the points race and all that when the time is ready. But from all of us here at Speed Zone TV, thank you for joining us here. I'm out of here, and I got to find a way to stay dry because things are getting a little hairy around here. So be safe. Take care. God bless. Good night.